Good morning. We are already awake. Well, it's so early. I think it's 6 a.m. So I've been given tea. Here we take so much tea because it's really cold. Mom, I need more sugar. I'll take it myself. Slowly. Sit down first. You are sitting on my mother's chair. She has her favorite chair. So sit here. Does your mother have a favorite chair?
Yeah.
They're like that, eh? I hope I don't become like that when I'm old. It's really, really cold here. Dad, where do we live? On the Aberdare Ranges?
Yeah, just below the Aberdare Ranges.
Okay, we live just below the Aberdare Ranges in the White Highlands. They used to be called, Dad, yeah?
What is they are well on the outskirts of Rift Valley.
We are the outskirts of the Rift Valley. My dad might explain to you a few things later. So it's cold here. It's very high up here. It's very, very cold. And our land is also very fertile. We basically feed the whole of Nairobi. So they don't have so many cows. They used to have a lot of cows, but we told them to get rid of them because they're becoming old and it's giving them a lot of work. So I think they basically just have cows for milk. They have names, but we don't know the names. So we'll ask my mother later. So tuzifuate twende. Otora one by one. So they are being taken to the paddocks. The people with small pieces of land usually do something we call zero grazing. They cut twigs and grass and feed the cows from the spot. But for me personally, for me personally, we have very, very big paddocks and unused pieces of land here. I mean, my dad's land is massive, so they're just going to be left somewhere there. Look at these, and we've been buying these in Nairobi. We've been buying these a lot of money. All this is from sheep, and it's really expensive from the what do you call it? From the goats. This is really, really nice for planting grass, for planting flowers. Yeah, this is manure, or rather, yeah, and this is cow dung. This is cow dung, so you can imagine. I've been buying this in Nairobi. I knew my parents have it, but there was no time to come here and pick some. And I didn't even come with my pickup, my old Suzuki that I used to do everything with. I didn't have time for that because that car, it needs to be serviced. If I'm lucky, I'll get it running a bit before I come back. I renewed my driver's license, but I really want that. So I think they're just going to leave the cows in this place. They always leave them in the place that looks greener. And don't again you see at my favorite.
What are the joy market?
They go home.
Asa.
Guererie.
If you hold on. Oh.
Wow, you need to pour another number. They can't let us out by the way.
Ne kana no ne kana ne ko kara ni ro iri area.
Kai sitiaga go hai.
Go sirabia.
Mubabagia na ki.
Kohora bobo. Yani riu da.
Ni akoragwo rimwe na ng'ombe nginya no kije go githako na.
Ati eroaga.
So he's watching out for me. because sometimes you have really aggressive cows. He's telling me they are good. Sometimes you have very aggressive, so we have to be a bit quiet so it's calm. So we are not going to bother them. You see, they are unsettled now because they don't know me. They know him. So even touching them is making them a bit unpeaceful. So I'm going to just leave it at that for now. There are so many natural herbs and plants on this compound. Some people come from them from very far. I don't know them except the sisal. We have naturally growing sisal here. And we have aloe vera. Jigua goko kwe aloe vera nyingi muno. So this one is called Maigoya. It's very, very soft. It's a very, very soft plant. It's very soft. Yeah, this is driving me crazy. My cousin came here and she carried so much aloe vera. It grows in the natural. I don't know if we have more. But the parents shouldn't have let her carry all the aloe vera because she sells plants. And I think for me today, I'll carry one of these when I'm going to plant on my compound. Wow, I'll carry this to Germany. These are aloe vera seeds. I didn't know they're aloe vera seeds. Wow, this is getting so crazy. I'm going to get the seeds and we are going to plant them somewhere else. And I'm also going to carry them. So we'll carry that one and this one. And I'll go plant them in Nairobi in the flower pots. And I'm so excited about how beautiful they will look and big. And I will water them so they will look really nice. Wow, we used to think this is a hotel that is building. I had heard a rumor that there's a big hotel being built. And it's actually not a hotel. It's somebody's house. And look at the water tank. Oh, that calamari. Oh, near Jeke. Look at that. This is what my parents need. They really, really need something like that. With water just on top. Because this one has dug a borehole. He's drilled water. And this is the Rift Valley. We have underground rivers. So what happens is it's really hard to reach the water down there. So it costs a lot of money. Millions actually. Depending on how deep, millions of Kenya shillings, depending on how deep, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, up to maybe even, I don't know, it can be 100,000 or euro, but it's relatively a lot. So you can just imagine how that feels to have something like that. I wish I could get something like that for my parents. They'll never lack water. So, and that's somebody's home, of course, and wow. That's someone who's probably worked very hard and they're going into retirement. But our neighbors are selling off bits and bits of their land. Our land has never been sold. So we are having a lot of new people coming in the neighborhood that we don't really know. So I don't really know how big my dad's farm is or how far it stretches. So he's actually telling me this goes all the way to the river. I don't think we'll go all the way to the river because we don't have time. We'll just turn around. I'll just have a look and show you what my brother is farming. You can see he has really fenced and he's doing excellent farming. There are vegetables there. He's using underground water. As you can see, his piece of land is not so big, but wow, this is just amazing. So he's showing me where my neighbors drilled water. We can't be able to see it, but maybe we can zoom to that small wooden place just there up. There's a small wooden shack there. Here we go. Yeah, that place, that's the farthest we can zoom. That's where the water is. And it is on the same level with where we are standing. So it's on the same level with where we are standing. The whole of this place is very wide stretch. So the possibility that there is water on my land, parents' land, is very high. I hope one day I get enough money to just drink from my parents' water, because it will help the whole community around. People don't have water here. They walk for very long distances to look for water. We're in the the dry season, so it's really bad. And even the cows, you have to keep giving them water. They take lots of water per day. My you. Yeah, it's a lot. They take at least 50 liters per day, and I think that's very little for the cows, to be honest. But it's better than nothing. So, like, I can tell you all this. I don't know how far it stretches, but my dad usually shows me. And then there's a river down there, but it's dry. Mukuru ne momu. Okay. So even if it's dry, they've dug a hole. So we are going to continue walking. They've dug a hole to trap the rainwater when it rains, so that the cows can go there and drink. I thank God they had that wisdom. So it kind of traps the water from the river. This river is what we call a seasonal river. In the Rift Valley, they are not really rivers. It's a whole different geographical kind of place. The features are very different. All the rivers run underground, and they feed Lake Naivasha. They run underground and run from the lake underground. In the whole of Rift Valley, Lake Naivasha is the biggest hot water lake, I can be sure. So he removes the water from down there. He's taking us down there where they manage to trap water when it rains, and they bring it here. So, wow. Yeah, so my little girl is a bit scared. Just stand there. It's okay. You can't fall in the hole, but you have to be careful. So this is the dam. So when it rains, water runs through this seasonal river. And when it stops raining, some water stays here stagnant. And it helps. It helps a lot. They dug this. They dug this. I remember my mother telling me there was a project here to dig this, so that when the water goes away, there's still some water left here. So I think this is excellent for our cows before we ever get borehole. There's lots of indigenous trees and plants at my parents' place, and there's lots of woodland. And I'm not even all that way. You can zoom there. We are not going there. And they've tried to keep the place untouched. They've managed to keep it untouched and not do something we call deforestation, because a lot of people need firewood and they remove all trees. Wow, guy, come. There's more aloe vera. There's more aloe vera here. I don't know why my dad has been felling trees. Well, these trees leave the piece of land very arid. We are going to deal with him. He has sold 4 trees, and I think my dad will have to stop selling trees. Although these trees, they're just for wood. So when you're building a house and you need roof, yeah, so you use these trees. So my dad should keep these trees here. I will talk to him. He needs to keep these trees here, because one day we will need this. One day we will need it. He should stop selling. So he felled 4 pieces, and I'm going to confront him about that, because we like keeping this place a bit natural. I just asked him, Dad, please don't sell more trees. But like I said, these ones were planted some very, very many years ago. I don't know how many. But the rest of what I'm talking about is indigenous. They grow on their own in nature. Is it true? Yeah. They grow in nature on their own. Yeah, so we just took a brief tour of the farm, and I'm glad we came with him, Mr. Kenodia, because if we came with my dad, I think it would have lasted maybe an hour. And he would have told us we are not wearing the proper shoes. Yeah, so as you can see, it's very dry and arid. It's a very dry time of the year. There's nothing enough for the cows to eat, or even the animals in our game reserves like Masai Mara. And that's why we have the immigration, because I think very soon the animals have to immigrate to look for greener pastures. So this is my brother's project. So my brother just started small on just about 2 acres of land. So as you can see, these are onions. These are Kenny's onions, and there are beans there. I've just had a second thought. I don't want to trespass here. If my brother had left a small footpath, we could have walked there. But as you can see, he's planted very close to this bush, for example, is called mokinyai. My shosho used to use it as a toothbrush. Even if you could bring her toothbrush or toothpaste, she would still revert back to this because it's really, really good. And it has a distinct mint-like taste. So they just chew on it, and I've just woken up really early, so I think I'll make my natural toothbrush just now, and I'll show you as we go along how my toothbrush has turned out. And yeah, actually I have a toothbrush with me, of course, but I'm just enjoying blending with nature. So I'll chew on it, then I'll brush my teeth. I'll show you later. So we've decided to trespass on my brother's project. As I've told you, it's not raining, so it's really sad. These are spring onions. These are spring onions. They are still babies. They are growing. Our farmland and our area feeds most of Nairobi, actually. We really, really grow cabbages, carrots, a lot of potatoes. This is very rich potato land for growing potatoes and everything else possible that you find in Nairobi. So it's amazing how they're even growing in this weather, in this climate without rain. So he's telling me they're just waiting for the rain. Because you can see they've weeded, there are no weeds, it's very clean. There must have been weeds here, you have to clean regularly. So once it rains, they're going to shoot up. And it just needs a few weeks of rain, and they'll shoot up and they'll be ready for harvest and for taking to Nairobi, to the farmers market there. I don't think we showed you that market. It's just on the way to place we were called Kikomba. It's called Marikiti. And this is an amazing project my brother has. So for now, my brother has only planted green onion, but he also plants red onions and white onions. So these are his beans. We had a lot of beans growing. He harvested some beans, I think yesterday or the day before, and he's planted different kinds of beans. Let's see, I really need to go to the nail studio today. So, maybe she can't see yellow. Hey, Naragi to Hadid Boshonai. So Kenny is an entrepreneur. Kenny is the kind of person who comes up with a project. So that's an enemy there by a gay. No, is she? So there's a reason my brother planted these beans. I'm sure he knew they're drought resistant. He has already harvested some and he carried them yesterday, and he's got a grocery in Nairobi and I think he's already selling them. So
Rakĩhũrĩire harĩa irarĩ nyũmũ.
So we missed out on a lot of content. We missed out on seeing my brother uprooting his beans. He was here for the whole week. We were supposed to come here and we would have got amazing content. But we were just so busy, there was no time. So we'll show you the places you can see without beans are the beans that are dry. So he'll be coming when they dry and we'll show you where they took them. Look at all this aloe vera. I can't believe this. These people, and the way I buy these plants, a lot of money in Nairobi, like maybe just about $15. This one can still be planted. Look at all these, and look at all these. This is what's driving my cousin crazy. She wants to come and get aloe vera here and sell it to me. And I told her that's unfair. We've missed out on seeing so much. So after they uprooted the beans, they came here. I'm telling you, this only 2 days ago. We missed out completely because I was so busy in Nairobi and I could not be in 2 places at the same time. And even now, I came last night because I can't afford to be away during the day. So they usually come and put them on this net, the dry beans, just in their natural form. Let's say, let me give you an example. I'll take the smallest tree, like this one. You just uproot it. This is of course not dry. Then nyarare kashiume hanini. Nyarare kashiume obviously.
Siamu nyori. Sikaba ikaneko.
Ni.
Sikaheruka.
Igoka ikahuro. So after they uproot them, they leave them out in the sun to dry. And after they dry, let me show you how the women do it. So this is how the women do it. It would have been very much fun to see this. So this is where they put the dry beans and they beat them like this and like this. And they have a lot of these. And then they come here and just check it where the beans are. If you come close, you will see there's still some beans here. You see, they've carried everything. These are just remnants. So after they beat it, these are actually green beans. I heard my brother talking about them. So they do this, and then they go and kind of just blow them. They blow the leaves away. And my brother has already taken enough kilos of this. I'll ask him how much. We'd probably go to his shop and see some. So this is amazing. So you can't just throw this net away because it would still be having some beans that someone can probably plant again. So I've shown you how they do it. So I think it's time for us to now exit my brother's project. As you can see, there's more trees here and more bushes. We don't have time to go there, but I think we've given you a brief tour of as far as we could go near the house because we couldn't walk so far. I don't have proper walking shoes. These are my mother's house shoes. She's not going to be very amused. I think I'll wash them. But there's a woman who comes here, so I'll tell her to wash them for me quickly. Because it upsets my mother when people take the house shoes and bring them outside, then there's no more shoes to walk in the house because it's really cold. So we usually have house shoes and shoes to walk with outside. That's it for now. Please don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up.